Went to this bar and ordered a drink. Bartender gave me a drink. I took a sip of my drink and I immediately just felt like everything was like a dream. I'm feeling like I'm wobbling back and forth. And then I completely blacked out and I woke up and I was back home and I lived with roommates at the time, like 4 of them or something like that. And I asked my roommates, like, did they see me come home? Did they come and get me? Because I had written my address down because I was still so new. I just knew I had to have my address on me to be able to call an Uber or whatever at the time. And I was sore in like my private area. I was sore like all over my body. So I knew something had happened, but I didn't remember what. So 2018, I returned back to the bar, and it was the year that Kalani headlined Pride, and I was with a group of friends at the bar. It was like really busy, and we like ordered drinks and we got the drinks, and only like 3 or 4 of us, it was like 8 of us, but only 3 or 4 of us were drinking. We all kind of got hit with like this feeling of like feeling disconnected and like fuzzy, and those of us that weren't drinking kind of peeped it that like I think my friends are like being roofied, and asked to speak to the bar owner, and the bar owner ended up kicking us out. But none of us reported it because there's just a reputation this place has. To this day, we haven't talked about it, but we all know when this establishment's name comes up, we're like, yeah, I mean, we're not going there. I do like to just know what happened. And so I did try to figure it out for a while. But then, and that's why I had gone to different therapists and stuff, like trying EDMR or whatever, hypnosis, all these things. And it's just like, it's completely just like not there. Like I try to think about it, and I try to even like, I run it like that day through my head, like from time to time. And I'm like, I just don't remember. And then now that I've worked with survivors, it's like I've worked on like hotlines and stuff, and I hear them talk about it. I know exactly what they mean, because it's like this whole part of your life, this crisis or just this part of your life is like like it's gone, but it did happen, but it's like, it's not there. Like you can't find it. So I mean, I honestly, for my own sake, I wish I knew, because I feel like that's sometimes closure I feel like I'd like to have, but at the same time, I think I'm at a point now where I'm just like, I don't even think I'll ever know. I don't know, maybe one day it'll just like come to me in a dream or something, but it hasn't happened yet. I feel like our communities too could do more in general. Like, I mean, I'm calling out, City of West Hollywood and stuff when it comes to like that situation. But at the end of the day, this is like something even before my time that's been happening with like people assaulting people, and then us wrestling with the fact that like, because we're gay or, lesbian, like people automatically think, only a man can beat a woman, then the reverse of that can't happen. And then it definitely can't happen with like women and men. So I feel like we have this constant struggle of like, we're trying to all acknowledge that DV and SA can happen amongst our spaces no matter what, but then we have this big establishment where they're literally, I Googled it before I did this just to make sure I got this right, they're still known as the Stonewall of the West, and they're still known as a sanctuary, and they're like highly regarded and respected in that. And it's just to understand that the history and what they contributed, like, okay, cool, like they did that, but now we're here and they need to be held accountable. I just feel like not much change will happen because, like, let's say, like, City of West Hollywood was like, you know what, we're gonna shut them down, we're gonna investigate. If, like, us as a community or just as human beings don't stand together on that accountability, even down to, we got finally the city doing something, it's not gonna change. I feel like there's accountability to be held on the queer community's part for that. And even I'm thinking of certain even situations I know of recently with just certain influencers being found out to be like doing DV to their partners and things like that within the queer space. And it's just like a constant thing. I mean, I feel like I'm more in it probably because I'm part of the community, but I just think about like, there's just so much work we have to do too. But I feel like in a way, the easiest thing to do with this bar is to just not go. Knowing other survivors who've been in my situation with the same establishment, but also I feel like one of my good friends is Lisa Phillips, who's an Epstein survivor. She's like one of the main ones on the front lines right now of all the files and stuff. And I did her podcast in 2024, and seeing just them dealing with this, and I feel like they've done it with such grace, but like courage and strength. And I mean, many of the survivors in that situation have lost their careers, and they get, some of them have unfortunately, committed to as well. But I feel like people like that, like my friend and other people too that have been in those situations. I'm thinking of like R. Kelly's and Harvey Weinstein's where they're putting everything on the line. I feel like in my case, I'm not putting that much. So why not speak up or say something? You know, for one, I think the queer community is always left out of those situations. And there's queer survivors, you know, with Epstein, there's queer survivors with Harvey, with all these people. Obviously, they focus on, you know, certain ones, and maybe that's just the ones that are speaking up to, because then it's like you get into all these nuances, you know, about that. But I also feel like I was mentioning earlier, like our communities have kind of tiptoed around this subject as a whole when it comes to like DV and SA within our relationships, but also within holding accountability to this establishment, which is one of maybe others. I'm sure there's other stuff going on, but I just felt like I had a responsibility. I'm not one to stay quiet. For me, and being able to vocalize things when I didn't feel like I had a voice, or like I don't remember what happened on certain nights, that's been the healing for me, because now I can like take back my power. And I feel like as well, I started like a community organization called the Gold Star Society to like reclaim that term of what happened to me and other people as well. And so that's like my little thing that's coming up and that I've been working on the last year. But I feel like this work has been healing for me, and I've kind of learned in therapy and from working with other activists, like how to balance that not burning out, because people are burning out left and right and they're not even in like, you know, activist spaces. But I feel like this is just what's giving me life right now, is knowing I can like help others, or knowing that they're less alone in the situations. And that's been really healing for me, because I just feel like I didn't have a voice for a while. Now that I have one, I refuse to like shut up. So,
but I did have a question about when you look back at your younger self. Maybe it was the queer kid in Ohio who didn't really understand what being queer meant. Maybe it was the person who came out here and was just trying to make friends and went to a bar and didn't know what was in store. Maybe it's the person you were after the second time you went to that bar and was like, what the hell is going on in our community? What would you say to those versions of yourself now?
Well, one, that it's not my fault, and even if I don't remember it, it still validly happened, because your body still remembers things, even if your like mind can't catch up with it or comprehend it. Because I feel like a lot of people try to discredit that, especially, you know, people that are allies or in survivor spaces. If you can't say verbatim, this is what happened every step of the way, like it's not real. So I would say that. And then I would also say that it might sound crazy, but everything happens for a reason. And I feel like this was meant to help me get to where I'm at now as an activist. I mean, I was already speaking up on other things, like I mentioned, like human trafficking and things like that. But I can't say I would have ended up here, because I mean, there's just so much going on in that space that you can kind of just be like, okay, that's that issue, and those people are going to do their thing. But having experienced it, I just feel like I was just meant to, like, you know, God and the universe had that for me. I don't wish it on anybody, you know, but I know for me and just the work that I do, that's just helped me be able to, I feel like, really help and try to be a light and, you know, get in some good trouble. You know, that's what I always be trying to do, so.
Yeah.
So Free From, they are California based, and they're run by two amazing lesbians named Sonia Posse and Chani Nichols, which I think most people know Chani Nichols as the astrologer. Her wife is the CEO and founder of Free From as well, and they help survivors. So definitely Free From. And then Peace Over Violence is another really good one, and they focus a bit more on the domestic violence side, and they're doing a lot with immigration right now too. And they have like a whole legal area over there for that. My group, we do like we have a free closet for survivors who are escaping, because my whole concept in that is like, you're more important than your belongings. And you know, some safety plans say like try to save money and this and that. And that's where we also are looking to work with places like Free From that do give like emergency cash to survivors. We just want people to get out of their situations if they're ready to go. So my community organization is the Gold Star Society, and we have like a free closet in North Hollywood where we have like clothing and toiletries and all these different things available to survivors, to where they can just like go, like literally pick up themselves and just go. And then like myself, and then I could partner, like I know Free From really well, so working with Free From or like Peace Over Violence, we can get them the resources they need and stability we need. So that's where we're at as an org. Eventually, I want us to have housing too and like all that thing. It's like a big vision. But right now, we're focused on our like survivor closet, which is like a free closet. I really just want to get in a place where I can have a stable relationship. If I'm being real, that's like what I feel like, and like really healthy friendships, because I feel like too, through different crises, and I hate to say political climates, you know, I've lost a lot of friends because we just so far apart just with certain issues that like, you know, there's no coming back from that. And I think they say the same thing. So I feel like just getting in a place where I can have healthy healing relationships. It don't matter if you're just starting out or if we're at the same place, but just like there's certain morals that I'm at right now that I can't like change. And so that's like the foundations of that. I feel like that's a big part of my healing process because we always talk about community and, you know, certain community, even if they're in the community, they're not about the community. So I think that's why that's really important for me is like relationships like that and in connection to the work. I feel like I've been just attracting that, but also I think that goes back to the work I've done on myself. So it's like continuing to balance that. And we kind of got to be fluid nowadays with what's going on in our country and around the world with this is what we're focused on, but now, you know, this community needs our assistance and help. So it's like navigating all those things. So I think that's where I'm at. I'm just trying to be a resource and be of help without stretching myself too thin, but also like my healing is definitely more community based and just finding the right relationships and connections, and hopefully they're lifelong. I'm waiting for those lifelong ones. So believe survivors, you're not alone, and stand on business, get in some good trouble. Like that's pretty much it. Because, you know, all power to the people. I really believe that, you know, with the powers that be for now, we got this, we got us. So.